Okay, Nin Dalhousie Gabrielle Barlow. Hello, my name is Gabrielle Barlow. I am a 22-year-old Mi'kmaq woman from Indian Island First Nation, a small Mi'kmaq community in New Brunswick. Being a Mi'kmaq woman in this course has been a challenge in that I never want to say the wrong thing. I never want to be ill-informed or to come from a place where my point might be misconstrued. Then I realized I have something to offer based on my lived experience, and that I actually have a story to tell. I was raised in a small community of approximately 150 people, surrounded by my aunties, my uncles, and cousins. Growing up, I recall sitting in the stairwell late at night, listening to the grown-ups and the elders speak and tell their stories in Mi'kmaq. And although I couldn't understand what they were saying, it ignited my spirit, and I knew that I wanted that for myself at some point. Storytelling is such a focal part of my life, and this is because of its significance in my culture. I have chosen spoken word as my method of presentation, and I hope to use my piece as a vessel to demonstrate my thoughts towards reconciliation and decolonization as a Mi'kmaq youth. This term reconciliation is often used by settler communities and First Nations communities alike, predominantly in a hopeful way, one that looks to the future with peace and prosperity. This is what I hope reconciliation can mean to me in the future. However, I also wanted to shed light on the fact that the term can also be used as a tactic against First Nations communities. Given that reconciliation is an ongoing practice, Canadian settlers seem to think that once reconciliatory surface acts are performed, that it warrants a gold star and that they can go back to living in their perfectly suited settler society. Until there is a dramatic shift in the organization of settler state, from industry to government, there can be no meaningful reconciliation. Settler Canadians have dramatically and of their own volition placed themselves in direct opposition to First Nations peoples in their treatment of the land and in their attitudes toward our sovereignty. Until there is a shift in thought, there can be no meaningful reconciliation. Let not this concept of reconciliation be relegated to the confines of what could very well be a band-aid solution, but use it instead as a means to engage with your surroundings, your positionality in Mi'kma'ki and the First Peoples, because it is your responsibility. This is the story of all my relations. Misid Nogamach, as we say in my language, from the hummingbirds to the salmon, to the creeks and the berries, we are all living together, and we must determine a way to coexist in peace. I've often felt that their spirit is mine and I am of them, and it is this symbiotic relationship that influences the way I conduct myself across Mi'kma'ki. And so, I begin. You shouldn't be so angry. It's not good for your health, my health. Oh, how kind of you to think of my health. We watch as this sickness manifests in its many forms: cancer, heart disease, diabetes, water boil advisories. My demise is ingrained into the structural makeup of your exclusionary policies. Another news report shares the veil of empty electoral promises and assurances. Surely these deaths aren't accidental occurrences. No! We shout, look! As the poison claims our sisters and brothers whose lives in their books are but mere technicalities. This will not do. Canadians are respectful and kind. The settler complicity and apathy combined create the perfect environment to satiate and coddle their views, but it seems that their accounts are too far past due. I speak for the earth. No, not like the Lorax, but even Seuss understood that all acts have a tax, but your tax has been settled on the backs of my people. Is this reconciliation? The raping and pillaging of mind, body, and souls with your systems to protect you, you find your loopholes. It's not just the earth for whose body I worry, but the bodies of our missing and murdered women, our ladies. We are so closely entwined with our Mother Earth, it would only make sense for settler violence to occur. The two bodies bearing the brunt of colonialism's petulant hand, yet you seem to forget you're on unceded land. When I see footage of my elders being beat down to the ground by the might of your system's enforcement, I wonder if it's then that you believe you deserve our endorsement. I see the light of our women found in the colors of beads, each bead carefully planted like a seed in the ground and in the minds of our youth, serving as proof that however hard colonialism tries, we are never through. These colors spur hope of growth and revival. They remind me of my ancestors' tribulations and trials. Misid Nogmach. I remind myself daily, from the bees to the birds to the chokecherries, is when surrounded by this beauty that I begin to query. Is this reconciliation? Now I know I'm not alone in my anger and confusion. A consolidated effort is required to keep moving, but I have since made this conclusion. When the youth are shouting at the top of their lungs in protest that reconciliation is dead, I think in my head of my elders who tell me patience is a teaching I've simply not learned yet. I recognize that this process takes time, but I stand with the youth as we grow into our prime, as we work to untether the binds that grip our Indigenous sovereignty. When I think of our youth, I allow myself a glimpse of those who seek truth. Their strength provides hope with their holistic views and their voracious approach of not one eye, but two. Misid Nogamak. I think of your children and those who hold different views, but there are a few things we cannot agree to disagree with, which lights a fuse, but we fight for all there is, that there's no one left behind, because we will keep fighting and show up as we've done since the dawn of time. We need your bodies to stand for us too. It requires us all to see this task through, and until then, I will continue to ask myself, is this reconciliation?